well underway with one more speech to go after this. Please help me welcome to the lectern, under the title, Tell It, Toastmaster Aeon.
Yes, my youth.
Every one of you in this room has a story to tell. Many of you, like myself, might consider you have too many to tell. But this evening, I am going to show you two beneficial reasons why you should tell it, and one effective way in which you can keep telling it over and over without annoying anyone.
All right.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, all of us have experienced some great excitement or endured some kind of adversity at some time in your life. And many of us will go through rough times at some point in the future. We can allow these experiences to show us off balance one way or the other, or we can mix them together like cement and water to form strong foundations upon which we can build emotionally stable characters. One of the ways in which we can build healthy characters by mixing these experiences is in the form of storytelling. There are countless benefits in telling your story, but just allow me to share two that I consider very important. Firstly, storytelling empowers the storyteller. According to Psychology Today, research has shown that the act of briefly telling your story can have substantial impacts on both your psychological and physical health that can last for several months. Telling your story helps you to see that the events in your lives and the lives of people that matter were not chance or random. It helps you to find your voice, helping you to learn to express yourself, which in turn helps you to create a narrative of your life that forces you to look at where you're coming from, the starting point, where you are today, the climax, and where you hope to be tomorrow, the resolution. What matters most are the facts and how you perceive them. I'm not talking about storytelling as in telling lies. Creating a narrative of your life does not give you some sort of license to self-delusion, but it allows you to see that your life is a positive continuum of events. For example, when you were laid off your job, you might have perceived at first, oh my goodness, this is the worst thing that could ever happen to me. I was just not good enough. But in retrospect, as you compose the narrative of your life, you can now say to somebody, this was the grand opportunity of my life to find a job that I know how. This empowers you positively, boosting your self-worth and confidence to pursue your dreams. Secondly, not only the storyteller benefits from telling his story, but also those with whom he shares it. Telling the story of your life's journey is a gift to others to help them on theirs. How many times have you heard a story that just thoroughly resonates through you, that encouraged you and reassured you that you are not alone in your experiences? There is hope. Sometimes the glare from the other person's story makes the seemingly negative aspects of yours fade into oblivion. Have you ever experienced this?
Yes.
I remember listening to the story of a friend who told me how unhappy she was that her father didn't care two pence about her. How infrequently he showed up while she was growing. I hardly knew him, she told me. Then I told her my story, and she had a paradigm landslide. I told her about the first time I met my father. I was 16 years old when I went to see him first, and I found him very cold. You have to understand, he couldn't help it. He was lying in a casket. I bet she reconstructed her story since then, now that she now thinks differently of her father. Share your story with your co-workers, with your children, your family, your friends, with the stranger you meet along the way, even with your enemies. Just think about how your story may resonate positively with their lives. Even your enemies may be transformed and become friends. Telling your story may not only help them to see you in a different light, it may help them to see themselves differently. Telling my story not only changed the way my friend now thinks of me, it changed the way she now thinks of herself. Finally, telling your story will not only benefit you and those who hear it today, but also it can be a great blessing to many generations to come if you consider doing this one thing: writing it. Back in the days of tape and vinyl records, manufacturers made mechanical plays that would automatically play your favorite until something wears out. Today you can set your modern music player to play your favorite until you wear out. Writing your story is a way of putting it on automatic repeat. One of the magical things about a written story is that you take it up today, you read it over and over, and you pass it on to somebody tomorrow. Don't get me wrong. I don't expect that everyone has the skill to jump up in the middle of the night and pen a novel from start to finish. However, I believe, and you better believe this, everyone has a story worth telling, and if it's worth telling, it is worth retelling. And what better way to do this, to ensure this, than to have it written that children, grandchildren, family, friends, generations to come will have it to read again and again. Sometimes you learn things about yourself from the act of writing or storytelling. It can be a way to clarify what is important to you, says Dr. Sherry Hamby, professor of the psychology at the University of the South. Whether you, like our local author here, Mary Rankin, in her autobiography, considers this just a matter of getting it off your chest, or just a way to analyze the past, present, or future directions of your life, or in simply sharing your life with someone who is in need. There are countless benefits for telling your story orally, audibly, and textually. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, while I must agree that not every story is to be publicly told, I know you will all agree with me that everyone has a story to unfold.
Yes.
Intrepidly tell it. Tell it. For heaven's sake, tell it.